welcome everybody to the work session of April 1st, 2024 of the Limestone County Commission. Before we start the public comment section, I want to make a announcement. This weekend, or the last few weeks, our website has been an albatross to everybody, and it didn't even have the right holidays and things like that on it. So we're working on getting new websites and updating that. So I know I had several phone calls and stuff that our calendar and stuff wasn't on there. So it's supposed to be. We don't know what's happening to our website and all of that. So we're working in the process of building a new one, and I know we got some public comment. And so I got Mr. Larry Stovall, and I want to publicly thank Mr. Larry Stovall. I know last week we mentioned our proclamation for Vietnam Veterans Day. It's not only just today, it's every day we remember our people that fought for our country. So, Ellen, go to public comment, please.
Mr. Stovall.
Mr. Stovall, if you don't mind, step right up here to the microphone, please, sir.
Good morning. I have a couple of things I'd like to talk about. First thing on the menu is road, which he knows about. I talked to him about the time that we were paving West Limestone Coup Road. He mentioned to me that day that he would try to pave that road while he was doing it if he had the money. I've never heard back from him since that time, so I wish I'd get an answer from that today.
We'll talk afterwards.
We'll talk about it later?
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing that I have is the courthouse lawn. I got pictures I took this morning of where our Vietnam veterans wall is, where it's 23 names on that wall that were killed over there. We need to take some action and get our, if you commission can see here, the ground around it. Need to lay some sod. The north, the west part of the courthouse lawn looks good. It's shabby looking for somebody to walk up. I go over there a lot of times. I sit down there. I talk to the guys that were killed over there. You may think I'm crazy, but I do that. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mr. Stovall, and we'll get that addressed. You got any more public comment?
No further comments.
And thank you for your service. Thank you for your time. All righty. So moving on, no more public comments. We'll have minutes from March the 18th of 2024. Anybody got any discussion with the minutes?
And one more time. The new flag's torn.
Okay, new flag. Okay. All right, new flag. Thank you, sir. Well, I'll make myself a note there. All right. Got any discussion with the minutes? All right, no discussion. We'll have claims in the amount of $1,960,756.83. Anybody got any discussion with a claim? Has anybody got any conflicts of interest with anything coming from the commission body today? No conflicts. Silence, I'll take that as a no. We'll have no public hearing today. Resolutions and orders. First on here, I'll approve a resolution providing for Limestone County's participation in the 2024 back-to-school sales tax holiday. This is just something we do every year, like severe weather and everything else. Anybody got any discussion with that? All right. Contracts, agreements, and MOUs. The first one on here has three parts to it, and we'll take it all up in one. Will be to approve to apply for the following grants. First one is a grant for the EMA and with Homeland Security. And this will be for equipment in the amount of $155,970 if awarded. Said grant will be reimbursed after the county purchases the item. So these are all reimbursement grants. And the next one is a grant for the Sheriff's Office with Homeland Security for license plates recognition cameras. Amount will be not to exceed $200,000, and if awarded, same way it'll be reimbursed after we purchase the items. And the third part of it is a grant with the IT department with Homeland Security, cameras for the courthouse and the courthouse annex, and this is an amount of $200,000 to not to exceed $200,000 in awards. If awarded, said grants will be reimbursed to the county after purchasing the items. Anybody got any discussion with any one of those grants we're applying for?
How does that work? You wait until you get the grant approval and then purchase it, and then
we send in and they'll reimburse us for it. Like, well, I think the one for I know the one for the courthouse stuff is for like cameras and stuff for the security cameras and all. What we'll do is we'll purchase them and then we'll send a bill and they'll reimburse us for the money. They'll reimburse us.
They assure you they're going to reimburse you before you purchase them.
And that's what this. If awarded, that's the way it'll work. We'll buy the material and get it installed, and they'll send in a claim. And they'll reimburse our claim. Any more discussion? And I know the courthouse security cameras and the ones for this building has been something that IT has been wanting to do for quite some time. So, all right, number 2 on here will be to approve and grant agreement regarding the sheriff's Advancement in Education, Technology, and Training Fund. Grant funding under the assistance shall only be used for the same purposes as the pistol permit fees, and we're authorized to expenditure within the county was authorized on December 31st, 2022. And if anybody remembers, the pistol permit money was gone away with, and the governor come up with some grant reimbursements for some revenue loss, revenue replacement. This is for that purpose. So, anybody got a discussion with that? All right. Number 3 will be to approve a service contract with Rapiscan System, and this is in the amount of $4,989.60. This is for maintenance of the Rapiscan machine located at the courthouse. This is for the security system when you go in. Something we do every year with a contract with them. Anybody got a discussion with that? All right. Number 4 will be to approve an Apple Developer Program License Agreement. This is needed for the development of the use of an app for the sheriff's office. Anybody got any discussion with that? All right, number 5 will be to approve renewal contract with Turnkey Health Clients, LLC, for the inmate medical services, and this will be through March 31st of 2025, and this is a year-to-year contract. We already have the contract with them now. Anybody got any discussion with that? And I know that the sheriff and them I think they've had some little few things, but they've got it all worked out through the contract. And I know Drew was talking about that the other day. So I think they've done overall a really good job compared to what we've had in the past. So anyways, anybody got some more discussion with that? All right, budget revisions. We have a couple. Anybody got any discussion with either the budget revision? One for District 3, one for District 4. Anybody got a discussion with that? All right, we have no emergency purchases today. We have board appointments. We have 3 board appointments, and if it's okay with y'all, we can just take them all up in one motion in the meeting because they're all 3 just board appointments to a board. Anybody have any discussion, want to break anybody out individually? All right, first one will be to appoint Sheila Bannister to the DHR board, and then the other 2 are to appoint Marty Fisher and Helen Thompson to the mental health boards. Anybody got a discussion with any one of the 3 board appointments? And first of all, I just want to thank them for their willingness to serve. I know we've had some time getting people to serve on some of these boards. So, anybody got a discussion with anyone? And thank them for that. So, award of bids, and we have none. Personnel action. We have approve a job description for the property and evidence technician. It's a grade 16, and digital forensic evidence examiner grade 16 for the sheriff's office. Before we get started in this, sheriff reached out to me. This is not actually what we're doing is a splitting. He came talk with me the other day. We're splitting a position he has into 2 positions and moving a lieutenant down. I think it was a lieutenant or captain or something down to 2 positions, dropping the pay grade down and to fill with 2 positions. And this right here will give us I know the sheriff came to me with this idea, and I think it's right on spot. And I think it'll be good for our department, good for our service. And if anybody's got any discussion with that, sheriff can explain it a whole lot better than I can. But if y'all got any questions on it, all right. So moving on from that, we'll have approve a job description for a drug lab / case manager assistant. This is a grade 12 for community corrections, and this is down at the community corrections. And this pays its own way through the fees and services. It won't cost the county general fund anything. And Mandy needs another lady down there to assist because when they do drug screening, they have to have witnesses and all this. So anyways, got any discussion with that? All right. No more discussion with that. And 3 and 4 are both amending the staffing plan to add these positions. If y'all don't have any issue with that, we can just take both those up in one motion because it'll be just to amend the staffing plan. So the first part of it will be to amend the staffing plan to add 1 property evidence technician and 1 digital forensics evidence examiner. And this will be under law enforcement. And then the other side of it will be to amend the staffing plan to add 1 drug lab / case manager assistant under the community corrections. Anybody got a discussion with either one of those? All right. No discussion with that. Moving on, merit increases. We have several names listed below. Anybody got any discussion with the merit increases? Anybody on there? All right. Everybody's silent. I'll take nobody has an issue with that. So, engineer's report, Mr. Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have 1 subdivision for your consideration today. It's Davis Preserve. This is a major for preliminary approval. creating 99 lots in District 2.
I'd like to address that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, go ahead.
Over half that's in the floodplain, somewhere around half, 40–50%.
For, I think, the total build-out, yes, but
For-
the 99 lots is not.
400 lots total.
Yeah, the total build-out, a portion of that is, but this is for Phase 1.
So to me, that means we're gonna be hauling dirt in there and tearing the road up. Is that correct?
There's gonna be a lot of it from on-site. I
think
don't
they're
have
digging
I don't
up.
have a breakdown of what would need to be brought in as fill, but there's a lot of it they're gonna be digging out from a pond on-site.
It's like 400 homes, so I guess maybe half the 400, when it's
Yeah,
completed, will be in the
It's a
floodplain. It's a good
It's a
bid.
possibility.
I don't know how to say.
Possibility.
You know,
Yeah,
you
it's a
can't
possibility.
bid
A lot of it
that.
depends on the soil conditions, what they encounter while they're out there. A lot of it depends on, there's a lot of depends on how things are. So,
So, you know, we have a developer from Birmingham coming in here, creating a subdivision that costs us money because we're gonna have to pay for the road they tear up if they haul all the dirt in there. I don't know, y'all, am I the only one that has a problem with people tearing their road up?
No.
Well,
But I mean,
but you see where I'm coming from?
yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So we don't want to charge the developers with an impact fee to pay for it. So I'm kind of at a loss, you know, all that costs money to pave roads.
Agree. I mean,
But
I agree.
I just wanted to bring
Yeah,
that out.
I can only do what we've got, I mean, what's out there.
Well, you
for
have to,
people
I guess,
do.
because it meets our subdivision
Right, correct.
regulations. But I don't know if we need to address building in floodplains.
We do have, that's part of our floodplain ordinance as far as building in floodplains, but it's not, we do address that and we do review that, but the floodplain ordinance has to do with finished floor elevations and things to that effect for the individual homes.
Could we prohibit building subdivision in floodplains? Legally?
There's a lot of things that can be done when it comes to the flood ordinances. I know that we've got a lot of opposition with the flood ordinances we're trying to put in place, and yes, FEMA does have that as an option to prohibit construction within an A or AE zone completely, and that's considered a more restrictive standard than what is required by FEMA. If I'm answering the question you're asking.
Yeah, I think we probably could. See, we're building a subdivision with eventually 400 homes within a half a mile of a school that can't accommodate the kids there. So we need to make it tougher to build homes in District 2. Somewhat.
I don't have any good ideas for you. Because whatever affects District 2 has to be enacted through the entire county.
Right.
I mean, otherwise you're talking about zoning, and there hadn't been any appetite for zoning.
But, you know, District 2's got all the development it needs for a while.
I mean, there are regulating tools out there, but again, those are things that have to be.
I just need to learn what they are.
Those all have to be enacted through the entire county unless you put zoning and that type in place. And so, like I said, there hasn't been any appetite.
You
for
know,
doing
we
that.
don't want to do impact fees. We don't want to do weight limits on our roads. All we want to do is get the taxpayers to pay for paving the roads. So that just seems kind of unfair to me.
There's a lot of things that are, like I said, that our hands are tied in a lot of situations.
Right.
because of a series of decisions that would have to be made in order to get to that point. And so without any one of those decisions, if it's not agreed upon, then we can't get to where you're wanting to go.
My understanding is we work for the taxpayers, not developers.
Well, we did just pass a subdivision regulation that is much more
Right.
restrictive. Does require, like this subdivision, has already submitted a traffic study. The next phase, I believe, will require turn lanes and things to that effect that we've never required before.
Right.
We did just pass a subdivision regulation
Seems
that
like
is
I
much
talked
more
about that
restrictive.
for a long
Yeah,
time.
you did. You talked about that for a long time. So there are some benefits that we will be seeing, but I'm not saying that all the answers are there.
Thank you.
Anybody
you,
else
Mr.
got
Chairman.
anything?
On that topic?
Well, we have one subdivision for your consideration. So, 99 lots in District 2. So, the next meeting, we should have a plan together. I'm gonna send it out. I need it on the road paving. I'm gonna send it out to you guys and let y'all tweak it one last time, because we finished that up last week. I do need to go over a couple of things financially with Emily. But then beyond that, I think we're kind of down to the last piece. So the next meeting, we should have something for your approval. The paving crew is up in District 1. We're doing a few small projects that Daryl's been waiting on us to do for a while, kind of like all of y'all had a few little things that kind of hanging out there. So we're trying to wrap up all the little stuff before we get going wide open with the paving season. So
Will our contractors start before, they'll start some jobs
They'll
before
start
the next
some-
meeting probably?
yeah, well, they'll start some jobs. With your verbal, we can at least give them the once I give you the list, kind of with your verbal, at least we can get it on their schedule. I don't know when they will start, but they'll be able to know for sure that, hey, it's coming. So they'll have it on their schedule. There are a few jobs that they can begin prior to May 1 because they don't have chip seals on them. So they would be free to begin whenever they had a crew ready to go. So, but then there's still a handful of jobs that do require chip seal that will take some coordination with us. But yeah, we've got again another very aggressive season. So, and then on top of that, we've got to do all the patching. So from May 1 to probably June 1, we're going to be patching, strip patching chip seals and trying to work in District 1 and District 4, trying to get all of those strip patches done, try to get those roads in a better condition. So so we have all that in addition to kind of an aggressive paving season.
Brian, that brings up another subject. All that costs money, right? So we were talking about $1 million or $2 million transfer. Chairman was talking about $1 million. I was talking about $2 million transfer from the general fund to R117 account.
Well, I want to do it as a project thing. We have talked with Emily about that. Bring us a project, and that's what we talked about.
Well,
Like the Rebuild Alabama
that
project.
takes away our district system, Mr. Chairman, doing it as a project. If we want to go with unit system, I'm willing to vote on it, but until then, I guess we're on the district system.
But it would be no different than the Rebuild Alabama projects. You just present the project into Mark and get the cost analysis on it.
And
before we
Emily
talk.
and I have talked about that, so we can do it. That's a budget revision that would need to be made, and we can. Because I asked her how she wanted to do that, and so if we do a budget revision, if there's a need for any of these projects or any of these, then we'll just do the budget revision. We can do the budget revision at any point that y'all want to do it. So, I mean, her and I have talked about it, and I know her and Colin and her have talked about it. So, everybody's ready to move forward. It's just like I said.
So
we need to get our project list put together and make sure that we're moving.
So how much is it going? Any estimates on the winter damaged roads in District?
About
One.
each one of them has between $100,000 and $150,000 probably in materials for just the winter damage. I mean, that's not counting the other projects that were already kind of in the queue. So, like I said, but they have about 150,000 just in materials, that have to be bought just to try to take care of the winter damage.
And it's no difference in our normal paving schedule we're already doing. I mean, you give projects a list with the funding you have, and that's the way we do it now, so.
Well, no, they're either gonna have to take the money for this to repair those roads, they're gonna have to take the money that they were gonna spend on normal paving.
Well, if that's,
I
what- I mean,
guess.
if that's what we want to do, give us the list on that cost, and Emily,
And that's what, when Emily and I talked about it, because we kind of, it's one of those, you got 6 of one, half a dozen of another. You can take the money out of the 117 and pay for these materials, or you can,
Do a
and
budget
put,
revision.
and put that, take the public building fund and put it towards a roadway project to offset it, or you can put it in materials and take the money that you were gonna spend in materials and put it on the road. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. It's the same outcome. It's just we can do a budget revision fairly simply and easily. And it's like I said.
And transfer it to 117 simply and easily. Is that right?
It's
Just
a budget revision.
paperwork.
It's a budget revision, and that's what like I said, we're working.
We'll work on that.
We're working towards it. Everybody's on the same page. I think it's just a matter of a difference of of execution.
Different, what do they call the formatting of
Yeah,
the page?
yeah. Like I said, we're on the same page though.
Different
We've got, in fact, the project list that we have is budgeted to include those funds for the projects. So, I mean, the project list that we have is to include those funds that you're talking about, so.
Good.
So it's, like I said, that's it's just a matter of, like we said, do a 117 revision or just do the revision to pay for the project. Either way, it's the same outcome.
well, I just like the project situation that way, that way we in the public says, hey, we took money from the public building fund and did this with it.
You must be a unit system man.
No, I mean, I'm just saying we done that with that. That's what shows what we did with the money that we had accomplished to it, so.
I like 117.
Well, that's up to y'all. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But anyways, anybody got anything else? And I have got a couple of things for Mark. Number one is I want, during the break, Mr. Larry Stovall had some questions about a road name he wants to ask questions about. I told him you could explain to him the way that's done. So during the meeting, get with him, please. And if anybody else got anything else for Mark?
What about our spray truck, Mark?
Okay.
Well, just hang on a minute. We're fit to be done we're fit to be done in 1 second.
We began spraying today. We got our spray program, our mix design and everything. So we are beginning spraying.
We got our truck in and everything.
We do not have the truck
Oh.
in, but we're going to begin with the one truck that we have. We're going to begin with the one truck that we have. They're going to work. Our 2 spray guys are going to work whenever the conditions are fit. The consultant that helped us put the spray program together and the mix designs together took into account our starting time frame. So our mix design is specific for us starting now. We're not. So anyway, we're not. They said that we're not going to be behind. Our ultimate outcome is not going to be behind. It's just it changes up some of the chemicals.
Who's your consultant?
It was Elk River Turf, I believe it is.
Okay, that's Tyler Sandlin.
Yeah.
Good.
So, like I said, they were gracious enough to help us out with a mix design plan. So we are beginning that today.
All right.
All
Anybody
right,
else?
so anybody better get their signs out.
I've already seen a whole lot of those
And
signs.
if they don't
out. People
bush
already-
hog it and keep it clean, then it will be sprayed,
Yeah.
even though it's got signs out.
If they're not maintaining it, then
Okay.
it's the same thing
Fair
we've
enough.
been doing the last several years. Just because there's a sign, if it's not maintained, we're still gonna
Okay.
treat it just as if it were anything else, so.
All right, thank you.
All right, anybody else got anything else? All right, other business, we got one approve a release and permission to enter property for the city of Athens for the repairs of a missing or damaged sewer clean out cap located. This is at 1409 North Jefferson Street, and there's no cost to the county. They just need an agreement to get on our property to work. So anybody got any discussion with that? All right, so we're in no executive session. We'll take a 15-minute recess, and we'll be back here at 9:40.